Yes, here we are. We are live. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday night, Fake Friday, as I call it. For years, I played a game called Battlefield 2, and every Thursday night we had battle days, and I always considered Thursday night like the real Friday night. That's the night I always got beer and got drunk and played video games. So Thursday night, Discord chats. Although it's not Discord chats, we're not doing anything on Discord tonight, but I am going to debate Dylan Burns and Liberal Cluck on Ray Epps and maybe other topics. So, and as I mentioned in my short earlier, if you saw it, Dylan Burns is joining us from Ukraine, literally 3 a.m. From Ukraine, from a war zone to debate little old Dronetek here. So I appreciate him being here. And I hope all of you enjoy this tonight. We also, I mentioned we have Liberal Cluck as well. And in just a minute, we're going to get going here. I'm just kind of looking over things, and I am going to bring them in right this moment. 1 second. Bam. Bam. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey,
Doing
all right.
fantastic. Very tired, but happy to be here.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being here, Dylan. I know it's 3 a.m. over there, and you've been hard at work in a war zone. So we appreciate it.
No problem, man.
And so I brought these guys on tonight just because, for one, I was bored, and for another, because this Ray Epps topic's really got me animated. I watched the 60 Minutes episode just a few days ago. Like many of you, I put out a video of it 2 days ago, and I just felt like the whole thing was such blatant, just I hate to say things like gaslighting, propaganda, all these kind of words, but that's what it was. It was just, you must be stupid to buy what they're saying. And if I'm wrong in all of this, I do actually have another explanation, which we will discuss if it comes to that. But for now, I want to talk about the possibility that Ray Epps was some sort of government agent, not necessarily an FBI agent, but somehow working for the government to incite a riot on January 6th for the purposes of propaganda, take advantage of a large protest they already knew was going to take place, and took advantage of that for the purposes of propaganda. And I'm going to talk about that tonight with Dylan Burns and Liberal Cluck. We'll go ahead and start with Dylan Burns. Do you just want to kind of introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Dylan Burns. I'm an amateur war reporter, field reporter, really, reporting on the ground in Ukraine. I also do political commentary. You can find my journalistic content on Dylan Burns TV. You can find my live stream content. I upload twice daily on Dylan Burns Live. My channel was recently unbanned after it was banned for illegal activity by YouTube for whatever reason. I don't know why. But when it comes to whether Ray Epps is I am not going to say that I 100% know that Ray Epps is not a federal agent, because I don't know. And it's not like the feds will tell you, hello, this is a federal agent. He's a nice guy because he's a federal agent. And so cool. They don't tell you. But if he is a federal agent, he's not that good. And I feel like there's a lot of other explanations. When we talk about the things that Ray Epps did, like when he said online that he orchestrated it, and the type of rhetoric he engaged with in the day before when he's saying we should go into the Capitol tomorrow, I think a lot of this can be explained by the fact that most of the people who went to the rally, the January 6th rally, I would not call extremely politically intelligent or just intelligent altogether. They were there because they had been duped onto the idea that Donald Trump had the election stolen from them. Not all of them. Some of them maybe could have a more nuanced view. But when it came to Ray Epps, that's what he believed. He believed that the election was stolen. No substantial evidence for it. And so it's not hard for me to believe that somebody who could be duped into something like that, and I don't find extremely politically intelligent, could say a bunch of stupid things leading up to what it became an extremely politically divisive night in American history. As far as I know, he never entered the United States Capitol. He never engaged in violence on the day of. I think the most you could possibly get him on, if you wanted to charge him on anything, would maybe be incitement on the day before. And then the day of, he said we need to go to the Capitol, which
In the
it's
Capitol.
I don't know if he said we need to go in the Capitol. He said that the day before on, I think, January 5th, that we needed to go in the Capitol. But
You
on
may be
January
right.
6th, he said we have to go to the Capitol, which if we're going to get him on incitement for saying it the day before, I guess you could try to, but I don't think you're going to get much on him. And I don't know how a judge is going to view that. And that's what ultimately the FBI decided. They had him on his poster out there. They took it down after they had a sit down conversation with the man. So I think odds are he's not a federal agent. I don't think it's impossible. He's also a really bad one where he's texting people, I orchestrated that. And as somebody who has known feds and grew up in the DC area and actually knows the people who do this type of work, that's not how you do it.
All right. Thanks, Dylan. What do you think, Cluck?
Hi, I'm Liberal Cluck. I am the old common enemy of the Dronetek server. Nemesis of Ramon. I don't know if any of y'all know him.
Is he around? I don't know if he's around still.
He's not around. I kicked him out of my server. I couldn't stand him. But as for Ray Epps, I just none of the evidence that's been presented to me to insinuate that he is a Fed is convincing. But maybe Dronetek has something here that I haven't seen yet, and I'm going to be screaming on top of the rooftops that Ray Epps is a Fed by the end of this.
So I think we talked a little bit about this before. So here's my main thing. So we have this guy who is on video during this 60 Minutes interview. They made a lot of weird points. I thought they were weird points that they made, and I thought they actually made more of a case for our side. But he's out there. He stands out very much because he's a big, tall dude. He's in full camo, which there weren't a lot of people that I don't know if there was anybody else there in full camo like he was. I don't think there was anybody.
There was a lot of people LARPing as a lot of things. I was there, so
there were.
I saw it. There were
right,
a
so
lot
like
of
he
people.
was there in like desert camo.
I think I saw a few people in camo, but there wasn't a lot of people in camo.
All right, so like he's big, like 6'4" dude, desert camo, which stands out, red hat, which is interesting to me. So if there are other agents there, they can easily spot him. He's out there the night before telling people to go to the Capitol, and we got to go into the Capitol the next day. That's a good point. I haven't actually paid that close of attention, I guess, to know if he told people to go in the Capitol on the day. But you're right. He would definitely, there's that video of him telling, we got to go to the Capitol. He's directing people there. And then there's the video of him talking into the guy's ear, and then the bum rush starts. So he is at the forefront. What's interesting to me is during the 60 Minutes piece about this a few days ago, Sunday, they mentioned that he was in the vanguard of the first assault on the Capitol Police and the barricades. They said that, and then went on literally like the next sentence to say it was a convoluted conspiracy theory, the whole thing. So that's kind of weird, first of all, because you're going to admit right now that he's at the forefront. He's the guy pushing at the front, and there's multiple videos showing this from the top and from multiple angles, and then say it's a convoluted conspiracy theory that he was somehow involved in the incitement of this in the first place. And they really focus on that he was an FBI government agent. And then at the end, they say the FBI, they talked to the FBI, and the FBI said, no, he wasn't. It's like, oh, okay, I guess he wasn't.
Well, I just quickly, from what my read, the 60 Minutes interviewer, I don't remember the name of the guy who did it. The black guy who was the interviewer, I forget his name, but I remember when he brought up that moment when he was the quote unquote vanguard, even though he didn't directly engage in violence, when he was at the front, when the gate was being torn down, he tried to basically separate himself from what happened. In the 60 Minutes interview,
that's what he said
directly. He says, you were a part of it. And he's
right.
like, well, but I didn't do it. So I don't know if I would say, oh, they completely try to remove him from any responsibility. They were specifically saying he was a part of it. And he did try to incite people, at least the day before. The day of, it's a little bit more washy because he's saying go to the Capitol. Trump did the same thing. So if we want to get him on incitement for that, I guess we can also try to, pin it on Trump as well.
But here's the thing is that like there's this huge, so Biden said that January 6th was the worst thing since the Civil War. And there's a lot of other comparisons like that in the media, like comparing it to Pearl Harbor and all this shit, like crazy shit. And you have
I'm more of I think it's more like Waco, probably.
Okay, but you just have this like real, like you have this focus on the QAnon shaman who didn't do anything. Like he didn't do anything. He went in, came out. That's pretty much it.
There's a lot of focus on him because he's weird, and the media likes sensational
yeah,
shit.
but they made him like the focus of an insurrection. Like you guys, it's weird that there's this huge emphasis to demonize anything related to January 6th, but this one guy who is on video inciting people into the thing at the forefront of the thing. And I have a video that shows he was actually involved in the violence. Like he wasn't partaking in violence, but he was in the mob that was, and you say he said that he was just trying to break it up. Like he literally was telling people to go into the Capitol the next day. Like, come on.
Previous day.
And when that first officer went down, he's like, "Why didn't you go help the officer?" And he was like, "Oh, I saw a billy club, and I thought they didn't want." Like, if you look at that video, and I point out in my video, it's one of the protesters that runs up and helps the officer, but they just kind of brushed right past that. It's, to me, what is most visible to me is what the media wants to deflect from, does not want to focus on. And it's odd to me that the one guy that's on video, so Trump told people to go to the Capitol and make he said, march peacefully and make your voices heard. And we have to and fight back, which back is a very
Epps
common,
said to do it peacefully the day before too.
Right. And fight back is a very common political term. I mean, that's used all the time, especially by KJP used that right after the shooting at that Christian school. Like she used that language. So you really cannot blame Trump for what happened there. So 120,000 people went to the Capitol to protest peacefully. Out of that, around 300 were charged with violence with the police, and another around 1,000 charged with going inside and trespassing. So all this shit around January 6th is based on what 300 people did. Is it really that far out to believe that Ray Epps is the one who incited 300 people?
I'll let Dylan go, then I want to go.
I would say that is a little far out to say he was the one who did it. Definitely when
he was working for multiple days to do it. Okay. He's on video doing it.
Okay. So the day before, when he tells people to go to the Capitol, everyone start yelling at him, Fed, Fed, Fed. He gets an extremely negative reaction. He then reverses course and says, peacefully, peacefully, peacefully. He got a negative reaction. To say that he was like the primary motivator, he was the one instigating it all, I just don't think he's that powerful, that intelligent, or that good to coordinate all of this. And I think you can tell from the way he behaved and the way he's behaved afterwards that he's not a particularly intelligent guy. I don't think he even could have orchestrated it if he wanted to. He can say he orchestrated it because he said people go this way, but if that's all it took to orchestrate it, then there were like 1,000 people there who orchestrated it. Because when I was at the Capitol, I heard people say, we're going to the Capitol, everyone. Are they all now orchestrators? Are they all now feds? Everybody who told me that this is the way we're going after Trump himself said to go that way. And let me just quickly say, there's two things we could talk about here. The first thing is whether or not Ray Epps did something wrong. I think he did something wrong. I think anybody who bought into the idea the election was stolen or rigged did something wrong. I also believe that the day before he was inciting something. I don't know if you could get him on it legally. The FBI decided they probably couldn't or wasn't worth their time. But I do believe he did something wrong. And I also believe his excuse of, I didn't help them up for this reason. I think he's trying to cover his ass because it looks bad for him to be somebody who's supposedly pro-cop, supports the police, to just kind of be standing there as everybody's bashing in these cops when he, the day before, was saying, go to the Capitol. We need to go into the Capitol. So that's one thing, whether or not he's a good guy or he's done something good. That's different from whether he's a Fed, which I don't think there is any substantial evidence for outside of largely hearsay. And we can say, is it possible? I guess of course it's possible, but he hasn't acted like a Fed. If he's a Fed, he's a pretty shit Fed.
Can I ask you this? Like that video, that portion of video you're talking about, that's Baked Alaska, by the way. He was the one, he's the one in video talking to him. But when he says that, when he says we need to go into the Capitol, Baked Alaska or somebody around him is like, what? Everyone's like, what? You can hear that. They're like, that's insane. That's crazy. Like that wasn't even a concept to these people until he said it.
I don't think
that's on video.
I don't know if I don't think he was the first person to probably think about going
But you know what
into
I'm
the
talking
Capitol.
about, right? They
But
do say that, right? They're
well,
like
yes,
surprised that he says that.
I think
well,
that
And
yeah,
that's
I think
that's what
I was
inspires them to call him a Fed.
everybody was surprised the day of when people ended up storming the Capitol. Nobody
No,
expected it. I didn't expect it.
you
I
said they're
don't think
surprised, but on this video, he called for it, and these people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he
So
called for it, but that doesn't mean he incited them all to do it. What do you think is
there
more
was only
likely?
300
That
people who actually took part. Just so you know,
well,
that's
no,
right,
no.
right?
So
you mean
you're
you mean
I took
300 people
so
who were
you're on your first.
charged, right?
Right. Yeah.
But that
300
doesn't mean
people.
there's only 300 people who took part. That just means those were the people they caught and they charged. I
Well,
mean, there's a
there's
lot.
tons of
If you know,
video. I mean,
I mean, we've seen tons of like riots in the past where people have got arrested, but a lot of people get away, right? We don't really know the real number, but we do know that it probably wasn't the majority of people who were there, but there were people there who participated. And I just find it hard to believe that those 300 people were all incited by Ray Epps, or all the people who went inside were all incited by Ray Epps.
so how
Definitely,
did
since
Ray Epps
Ray
avoid
Epps himself
charges?
never engaged in violence and never went into the
He
Capitol.
incited.
He never went into the Capitol. He incited the day before. So my question to you is,
And the day
what did
he was on video saying we need to go to the Capitol, and he was
So
on
did Trump.
video he was right there when the initial assault started, and he's there on video
That
whispering
really? That's
he's
how it
there
works?
literally whispering to somebody's ear as the assault starts, which they talked about in that 60
That
minutes
is
piece.
that is nothing. I mean, like, if you can charge somebody for being present when violence takes place,
The same guy that
then
was
you can
inciting
charge
for multiple
the
days,
vast
though.
majority of people who are at that event.
Dylan,
Because I saw
come on.
so many people be present when violence took place, whether it was the destroying of the cameras of the reporters, whether it was the bashing of the police. I saw a lot of people just stand there, whether in shock or just not knowing what to do when violence took place. Should we charge all of those people? Are they all inciters now?
Go ahead, Clock. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I really took issue with the 300 number. Like Dylan said,
I
that was
can
just
show
the
you.
number of people charged. I have video on my channel where there was a bunch of people trying to break into the Capitol for the second time. I don't think Ray Epps incited those people, but yeah, they were trying to break into the Capitol for a second time.
Well, once
And
the initial riot begins, whatever happens after that through the free flow of a riot
yeah.
should be blamed on the initial ignition source, right?
Anyway,
No?
there was a bunch of
Okay.
people that were trying to break in. They were using flags and riot shields to bash the cops that were protecting it, and everyone there was, while they were trying to push in, was saying "heave, hove, heave, hove" in support of
Okay.
this effort to be violent and get into the Capitol. So, like, the idea that these people weren't a part of the violence is kind of silly in my mind. The other thing that I took issue with was this the idea that all Trump did was say go to the Capitol and be peaceful. Trump
No,
was
I
the
didn't
one
say
that.
that. I also say he said fight back or
Okay,
whatever.
well, that's none of that's even important. The important part is that Trump orchestrated this whole idea that the Democrats were stuffing ballots, and there was a lot of fake ballots being for Biden being dropped off at 3 a.m. And he orchestrated this whole narrative that turned out to be fake.
Okay, so what?
That ended up
So what? So
rallying
what?
up people to break into the Capitol. That's the part that really
Who cares?
I can tell you
There's
what.
nothing new. I mean, Hillary Clinton, look, guys, I've talked about this a million times. Democrats have denied every single election they've lost since the year 2000. They denied the 2000 election. There was violence at Bush's inauguration. They literally attacked his motorcade. He had to speed out of the fucking inauguration parade. All right. That had never happened. It happened because Democrats lost the election. They thought it was stolen. Like, do you guys realize that? Like, and then it happened again. It happened again in 2005.
You cannot compare what happened
Oh
in
my gosh.
2000 to what
It's an
happened
escalation. It's a gradual escalation.
Dude, you cannot compare the hanging chads and then Al Gore being like, I guess I lost. It is what it
wasn't
is.
just hanging
and then,
chads.
and then floating into political obscurity to Donald Trump to this day, not accepting the results of the election and still running on election denial.
I can compare it to the 2016 election.
But
and
this
Hillary's
is all
non-acceptance.
We're all pivoting off of the point.
Okay, yeah,
Now,
but I can just say that.
Back to this though. If your argument is that he incited violence by just being present and whispering to somebody, but it isn't Trump isn't inciting violence by creating the narrative that made the environment possible for violence and then telling people to go to the Capitol, the same thing you're criticizing Ray Epps for. I just feel like there's a double standard for oh, that's violence, but isn't violence when Trump does it.
No. The double standard is between what you're accusing Trump of and what Ray Epps is being held to.
No. I don't believe. No, wait. No. I didn't bring that up to say Trump did the violence, or we think I'm Trump necessarily inside the violence. I can't say that at the end of the day because he wasn't that direct about it, right? Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I can't really say. But with Ray Epps, like everything that you're criticizing Ray Epps for when it comes to go to the Capitol live, Trump did that. And when it comes to whispering at somebody's ear, what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with Ray Epps whispering?
I will tell you what you're supposed to do. Apply the same standards as they're applying to Trump to Ray Epps.
Well, we do.
Okay,
That's
wait.
why Ray
Okay,
Epps
so
why isn't
Trump? Okay, so I just need to find like Trump whispering in somebody's ear. Like, what do you mean? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? You have no clue what he said.
Here's the thing. So Trump. So I can see what you're saying here, and I think you have a bit of an argument here for that. Only in that, Ray Epps essentially you could make. I think it's different personally. I think it's a bit different in Ray Epps' case, but I can see the point that you're making here. Except for the reaction to those two things. And so I do have an answer to this. So if Ray Epps is not a government agent, which he may not be, that may be true. There's got to be an explanation to the reaction to him, because obviously a guy on video inciting freaking people to enter the Capitol, he should be enemy number one, right? But he's not. So the answer to that to me is that they think if Ray Epps gets blamed for inciting the riot, then they can't blame Trump, or because he's closer, he's at the epicenter. You cannot. It deflects from Trump, and so I think the only other explanation to all of this would be that they see Ray Epps as a barricade to them blaming Trump. What do you think about that?
I don't. Oh wait, number one, I would probably need like some evidence of it, like some document or like some statement that would be like something.
Well, I mean, we're talking about things you're never going to get that on.
Well, I mean, like anything really outside of, because this is like a narrative, but outside of it, there's nothing else to this. Outside of it, just being, there's nothing to this outside of it being a narrative. There's no statement from a government official that would suggest this. There's no anything.
But there is a pattern of behavior from both the media and Democrats that we can compare to.
Is not make the allegation that there is a conspiracy to let Ray Epps get away with a crime in order to pin it on Trump.
How do you explain how he's getting away with it? All we ever hear. Let me present this, Dylan.
Okay.
Let me explain this. Let me throw this out there. All we ever hear from the left is that the First Amendment has limits, and they always talk about the limit being shouting fire in a crowded theater, right, Dylan? Is this not that?
Mm-hmm. The day before, this is what happened, and this is what we're gonna charge Ray Epps for, because everything else, like whispering in someone's ear, you've been sentenced to the chair for whispering in someone's ear.
He's on video for days.
The only thing, the strongest argument you have is the thing he said the day before, when he said we need to go into the Capitol, because that is him saying you do a crime, right?
And
the
he's
stuff that people got charged for.
He's at the forefront at the initial assault.
Standing
at the forefront at the initial assault.
Does not make you guilty of a crime.
Dylan, will you say that? Will you admit that?
Him being at the forefront does not make him a criminal. That's not a crime.
Bullshit.
I was at the forefront.
How's he not enemy number one in the media?
Why should I be arrested?
Why is the shaman enemy number one?
Drone, can you answer my question? Should I be arrested because I was present when the press were assaulted? I saw it. I was right there.
Obviously not.
Why not? Because it's the same thing. He was there and I was there.
You didn't do anything.
That's because you're a fed.
He didn't do anything either. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't go inside. He incited the day before. And then he immediately walked it back. This would be the equivalent of, okay, let's say.
What?
The thing is,
there's a riot. I walk it back.
To be clear, he walked it back the day before the riot happened. The day before.
No, he didn't. He says that now.
Okay, I can't yell over you.
I'm sorry. I know you can't. I know you can't.
The day before, he says, we need to go into the Capitol. He's advocating for a crime. Then the crowd's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he's like, peacefully. And he's walking, he immediately walks it back. That is the only thing you could charge him with. And you know what he's going to say in court? I immediately walked it back. And then your argument to a judge is going to be that hit that 2 seconds between him saying, going to the Capitol and then peacefully him walking it back. that needs to get him guilty and in prison for something. It's just
look,
you're not gonna do it, and that's why the
I'm
internet.
sorry,
I'm not go ahead.
is there
Colin,
even
go
such
ahead.
thing as like an attempted to incite a riot? Like if you try to incite a riot and nobody follows you, like can you actually get charged for that? Like, because nobody followed him that day.
No,
I
that's a
have
good
no
question.
clue.
But I would think here's my
There
thing.
might not
I would
even be a
think
law to get him on.
that in the so-called premier event in modern history to occur, that the guy who is on video inciting that riot might be a central
But he
figure
wasn't on
in
video
public
inciting a
enemy.
riot. He was on a
To
video
be
the day
clear,
before.
you're making it sound like that they didn't at all care about him. They put out a wanted poster for him, and they looked for him.
He
That's
was
how
never
they found out.
arrested or charged.
Sat down with FBI agents. They had a conversation. What were they going to arrest him on? We arrest you on saying go into the Capitol the day before walking it back. You're going to get
Do you know
the
what
chair.
plausible deniability is?
Yes, I'm familiar with plausible deniability. Yeah.
It's all up in this shit because everything, it's all like, it's so perfect. It's like,
Almost like it didn't happen.
no, I mean, like we know the Capitol officers like let people in, and we know that happened. We know the FBI before any of this even happened, like with the whole Russiagate.
When you say
FBI
let
was
them
involved
in, this was after they broke through multiple police lines and they were entering through other parts of the building.
All right, the
right?
police
Like, just
lines that got
because you
broke
just make
through.
it sound.
Dylan, the police lines that you just referenced that got broke through. Who led that?
Not Ray Epps. What do you mean he
Oh.
led it? What does that mean? Because
I
he
mean,
was standing
he
there?
or was he not at like maybe?
Dude, then I led the violence
one
against
or
the
two
reporters.
people behind
I
the
was
people that
there.
were rushing.
I was right there when the reporters were assaulted. I filmed
I
the
think
whole
I need
thing.
to show the
I
video.
led it. I attacked
on.
the reporter. It was
Let me
me.
find the
I
video.
orchestrated all of it. I hate the press. I'm a
You were not
terrorist.
on video orchestrating it.
What do you mean? Do you have
He
video
said,
of him?
"Oh, that's another thing." Hold on, that's
Of the
another thing
day
is that he
before,
admitted
and
he orchestrated it.
He told somebody else that he orchestrated it. Yeah. What are
He
you
told
going to
his
do with
nephew
that?
he orchestrated it. Yeah.
What are you going to do
And then
with
he
that?
told during his 60 Minutes interview, he's like, "Oh, that was a silly word. My wife scolded me for it." Like, I'm just like, my mind
Yeah,
explodes.
I think he
at
wanted
the
to
fact
take
that we're
credit for
even like
something
this is
that
even
he couldn't take
happening.
credit for. Happens all the time. I think he was a braggadocious moron. You're
How is he
laughing
not
at that.
enemy number
That's
one,
ridiculous.
Dylan?
Why you don't have any
You guys
hard
tell me.
evidence to support anything you're
You guys
saying?
tell
but
me,
you're
how is
laughing
this
at
guy
us.
not enemy number one?
I've already told you. Do you want me to tell you again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the one thing you could possibly get him on, and you just admitted earlier you don't even know if you could get him on it because you don't even know if it's a crime or not. He says we need to go into the Capitol, gets a negative reaction, immediately walks it back. That's the closest thing he's done to a crime. The rest
He
of it,
didn't
he
walk it
stands.
back.
The rest of wait, let me be clear.
He said
The rest of
peacefully,
your-
which is what the
rest of
people
your-
who were charged did.
Wait, when you say peacefully,
Right?
they didn't peacefully
Thousands of
break through the
1,000
police
people
lines.
who
They
were
didn't
charged with
peacefully
trespassing were
smash the window.
peaceful. No. The people who
wait,
were
no.
peacefully
They
in the
weren't
Capitol,
charged.
they were charged with
weren't-
trespassing.
They were.
Yes,
they
I'll
were,
show you.
Actually,
I'll show
they
you.
were charged with trespassing, but many of them were sentenced not on trespassing. They were sentenced with stopping an official government process, which was the certification
Right.
of the vote.
He told them
That
to
is
go
what
in
they
and
got
do
on their
that.
January
He told
6th
them to
rally.
go in and do that.
And then he walked it back immediately.
Bullshit.
And the
Bullshit.
Idea, wait. Let's be clear. When you look at all
Bullshit.
the people,
That's bullshit.
when you look
Sorry, go ahead.
when you look at all the people that committed crimes, they either went into it and they stopped the certification of the vote, they either bashed cops over the head, they all these crimes that actually happened. And you're an FBI agent, you're going through all these lists and you're putting out all these photos, including Ray Epps. Then you sit down for the Ray Epps interview and you look at all the evidence, and this is what you have. He was standing somewhere. He whispered in somebody's ear. Okay, well, there's not really much there already.
I'm getting the video. We're going to show it.
The best thing you're going to have is the day before he said, go into the Capitol, but then walked it back once he got a negative reaction. That's him advocating for people to do a crime he didn't even go through with. He didn't even get close to going through with it. Once it came time to be violent, he didn't be violent. He didn't at all.
That's not true, actually. I have him. I can show you a little clip of him at least in very close proximity to it.
Wait, let me be. What does that mean? I've been in close proximity to the shells falling and
Let me ask
killing
you.
civilians. Did I kill those civilians? Is that my fault? Is that my crime? No, that's silly.
You're the guy.
It's silly.
who
You're
freaking
near a
told them to
crime.
be there.
You're near a crime, so now you're the criminal. Like, this is silly.
You're the guy who told them to be there. I don't know if we're gonna
didn't-
come to an agreement about that. Hold on, let me find this video real quick. It really bothers me that
you already
60 minutes,
admitted you have
the
plausible
conspiracy
deniability,
theory
by the
label. You
way.
don't think that's weird how the media like throws that label around a lot?
If you believe
Have you noticed a pattern about when they throw that label? Have you noticed that at all?
definitionally, if you believe that Ray Epps is a federal agent, you're believing in a conspiracy. That is a conspiracy, just definitionally.
What about systemic racism?
Wait, can you agree with me that though? That just definitionally is a conspiracy?
Well, I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge it because what do you think about systemic racism? Is that a conspiracy?
I mean, like, it depends what you mean by systemic racism. Do you mean like
the
racism?
The claim of systemic racism, is it a conspiracy?
Well, but there's multiple things you can mean by systemic racism. If you mean,
Here we go. Now it gets nuanced suddenly.
I'm sorry that you don't like this N-word. But when it comes to systemic racism, there's the idea that through the structures that we have built that sometimes have been racist, either through laws that we have passed, that they affect the institutions that we have today, right? And there's maybe another one that this would be an actual conspiracy, is that the government is secretly trying to like be racist and be extra racist, either like kill all the black people or just be like super duper racist to hurt them. A conspiracy theory, yes, because you're alleging a conspiracy. A conspiracy is some secret plot or something along those lines. But if you're making an institutional critique about institutions having problems because of the laws and its history as institutions, that's not a conspiracy theory. It isn't a conspiracy to talk about redlining. It isn't a conspiracy to talk about, for example, the problem that comes with selling black people homes and how certain sellers of like homes will avoid selling them to black people at certain statistical rates. It isn't a conspiracy to talk about the problem when it comes to having black names on applications. Those aren't conspiracies. Those are just facts.
Okay. What does it change if you start blaming Jewish people instead of white people? I'm just wondering.
What? I didn't even blame white people.
So those things, like when it comes to systemic racism. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so usually white people get blamed, but I'm just wondering if the definition changes if you change the group that you're blaming for all these things.
I'm confused at your question. Could you?
Are you really? Okay,
yes,
so let's just take everything that you just said and you establish as not a conspiracy. If I say instead of blaming white people for that, which is traditionally blamed for those things.
Okay. Can I give a comparison then?
If I change the blame for that to a different group, does it change? Is it a conspiracy theory anymore?
In Israel, there have been things that have been built into the systems that benefit Jews sometimes over other people. For example,
I'm talking about America though.
But you just wanted an example. I'm giving you an example of something that could be systemically discriminatory. The fact that any Jew can move to Israel if they want to, that's discriminatory. Why can't I do that as a non-Jewish person? Now you can make an argument that that's a good thing because that's the land of the Jewish people, but why does the comparison have to be in America? I'm giving you an example.
Hey, I'm going to show a video here real quick. Not to deflect here, but this is what I was talking about. I'm just going to play it from the video here, okay? Media and Democrats always blame.
What exactly was the role of Ray Epps in the chaos of January 6th?
The theory, Epps, a former member of the Oath Keepers, was an FBI informant who incited the crowd on January 6th, bubbled up from a right-wing news site called Revolver News.
What are you talking about? It didn't bubble up from a right-wing news site. We have multiple videos of Ray Epps inciting crowds to enter the
cringe watching yourself on video.
I'm sorry. I don't want to. I couldn't find the exact spot. Here we go. It's right here, I think.
Epps may have led the breach team that first entered
I couldn't find the exact video I was looking for. Here we go.
The convoluted conspiracy theory made its way to Capitol Hill.
Seriously, what is going on here? Because 60 Minutes literally started out this entire piece by admitting that Ray Epps was with the, quote, vanguard that first entered the Capitol premises.
It's not the Proud Boys who engage in the initial breach. It's Ray Epps at that precise moment.
How did Ray Epps know that there were going to be pipe bombs?
Anyway, so that's the video you could see there. Hold on, let's see if I can get the actual. Damn it, I thought that was it. Sorry. So you guys saw that? Like he is literally like right there.
Yes, I'm familiar with the fact that he was there.
Okay,
we've all seen the 60 Minutes.
What are we arguing at this point? Like, I want to know why he wasn't charged, why he's not enemy number one in the media.
I've answered this multiple times.
No, it's bullshit. Your answers are bullshit. Because
Well,
why?
I think you just don't like the answer.
Why is
because
this
you
standard
wanna arrest a
specifically
man
for this
standing
man?
somewhere? That's what you
No,
want. You wanna arrest
why
somebody
is your
for standing
standard
somewhere at the wrong time? Okay, you know what this
what?
is? This
He
is
is
like
on video
standing somewhere. Yes, I'm aware.
telling people to go to the Capitol,
So did
to go
Trump.
into the Capitol.
Yeah, but you did that the day before, then walked it back. That's what you can arrest him
You
over.
keep
is
saying that. Walked it
That's
back.
the
How
one thing you can
fucking
arrest him over.
convenient. No, he said peacefully.
Yeah, he walked
peacefully.
it back. Good for him.
So you think
He's
that's
really
walking it
lucky that
back?
He walked it back.
So you think that's walking it back?
I
So
think to
then
some
why are the people who entered the Capitol peacefully charged?
When you say entering it peacefully, like you mean like going?
All
you mean
these
the
people who
just-
entered the the people who just walked in, stay in the velvet ropes, like the grandma, the
to be
grandma who
clear,
had
he
cancer,
was-
who did jail
let
time.
me be clear with my position. He advocated for a crime to enter the Capitol and interrupt an official government proceeding.
Right.
He advocated for it. He then did not engage in violence, and then he went home. That's all that happened with him. And so when you look at all the cases out there, his is just not a major case. And he did it the day before. not even the
Inciting a
day of the
riot,
violence.
according
So here's my
inciting a
question.
riot. Inciting a riot, according to federal law, is defined as the act of organizing, promoting, encouraging, participating in a riot, and urging others to riot. That's what he fucking did. He
Wait,
even
all of those
admitted
things, or just
that
like
he
one of those
orchestrated it. He even
There was
admitted
no
that he
riot.
orchestrated
There
it.
was- Hold on. There was no riot on the day that he said to go into the Capitol.
But he was there the day telling people to go there.
Let me ask you a
yes,
question.
He didn't
Let's
tell
say-
people
yes,
to go
he
inside.
was there the day.
Wait,
he
let me ask
was
you a
there the
question.
day it happened.
Wait,
telling people
whether
to
he
go
was
there.
there the day of, whether he was
telling
the
people to
day
go
it
there
happened
the
is
day
not-
of the cat. Yeah,
Yeah, so did Trump. But just because he was there
he
the
told
day
people to
of,
march peacefully. But he is
Wait,
the
so
center.
did-
But it's common, right?
So did he.
Here's where you're fucked up. Is that it's common knowledge in the media that he is to blame for January 6th.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he created the. I mean, certainly more to blame than Ray Epps.
He's more to blame than the guy on the ground telling people, going to crowds, telling them to
Absolutely,
go
not
into
even
the
a
Capitol.
question. Not even a question.
I think that
I can
Ray
explain
Epps
why.
interacted with at least 300 people.
You think that Ray Epps actually like
He's
inspired all those
near.
people to do
He's
this?
near. He's engulfed in around 300 people in that first video.
Do you have
And then in
evidence
the
of him convincing a single person to engage in violence?
I'm just like, why do these standards suddenly pop up when we're talking about?
Well,
Ray
no.
Epps, not
You
about
just
Trump?
said it. You said he could have done it to 300 people. Can you give me an example of one person he encouraged to engage in violence and then engage in violence? Because the one time he did kind of encourage
what?
people to actually be violent, everybody reacted to him negatively
what?
because he's not a particularly convincing
What?
guy.
But you know what? The fact that we're even debating this is really weird because
Well, I don't know.
He's
You
the guy
invite us on.
like, it's just weird to me. Like everybody involved in January 6th is widely hated and reviled, and their lives are
Look,
ruined.
if you
Grandmas go grandmas go to prison for just walking in and walking out. But this guy is a victim and he doesn't get charged. And he's poor him. And then when he gets interviewed on 60 Minutes, who does he blame? He blames the media's and the Democrats' favorite targets. It's Tucker Carlson, it's Fox News, it's conservatives, it's Republicans, it's white people. It's like
isn't that crazy that the person who's like getting like probably like endless amount of death threats because people legitimately believe he's a federal agent. I mean, it seems like you believe he's a federal agent as well.
No, I gave you two options. He either was working with the government in some capacity, or he's a useful idiot for the media to make a victim so they can blame Trump. One of the two. But go
I
ahead.
mean, like you can wait. So he's either the media is using him to like just go after Trump.
Well,
or-
no, because
like,
he's
I mean,
the
they can
guy
do that
on
in
video
his
telling
feed.
people to go to the Capitol. So if he's to blame for the riot, then you can't blame Trump. Which here, tell me about this,
dude. I'm sorry, the
Dylan.
idea
Tell me about this.
that
So
this
during
one
that 6
random
you watched-
person nobody
Dylan,
knows is the reason that the riot happened is so silly.
Dylan,
I don't
Dylan,
even think
did
that's
you
your real
watch-
position.
Did you watch the 60 Minutes interview? Did
Yes,
you
I
see
watched
where
it because you told me
all
to. But I
right,
watched
so
it,
the
yes.
January 6th lawyer, the January 6th guy that they interviewed, he's like, oh, it's so dumb. There's no evidence for it. And the people who think that he's an agent are just ignoring the evidence and they're ignoring what Trump said. But in reality, the January 6th committee are the ones who ignore what Trump said, because Trump said to march peacefully and make your voices heard. And that was actually never played during the hearings. They actually
So
clipped
do you
that out. They
So
actually
do you want me?
put that
Do you
out.
want to hear my explanation as to
Do you
why
think that's
Trump
weird?
is more culpable?
Does that change your thinking?
Okay, so I was trying to explain like 5 minutes ago why I
right,
thought
good.
Trump was more
Just gonna
culpable.
ignore me. Okay.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
You ignored my other thing. You didn't let me even get into my point.
Okay.
Do you want me to explain why I think Trump's more culpable than him, or do you want me to answer your hypothetical?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So I believe that Trump created an environment where violence was almost inevitable. If you genuinely believe that your democracy is being stolen by an elite cabal, by some people who are rigging it, by the evil Democrats, and that the truly democratically elected leader had it stolen from them, and he's telling you to go to the Capitol and to pressure Mike Pence into overturning the results of the election, even though Mike Pence doesn't really even have the authority to do so. Once that doesn't work, you have a bunch of people at the Capitol of the United States thinking our democracy is dead. It was just stolen. Baseless, but our democracy is dead and it was just stolen. Now, if I genuinely believed that our democracy was dead and it was just stolen, storming the Capitol is the least you could do. Armed resistance with guns and bombs and grenades, that would be morally acceptable in my view if your democracy was actually dead.
I mean, do you hear the rhetoric
tree
from
of liberty
Democrats
needs to
and
be
stuff recently? Like,
what
do you think the same about them and media talking about the trans stuff? I mean, it's apocalyptic.
What
the
is
stuff
this?
We're hearing trans genocide and all this shit.
Is this just like a whataboutism, or what are we?
No, I'm just asking. Do you feel the same way about that?
If somebody is saying that like trans people are being genocided and we need to go do something to stop it, then obviously I think that that's like hyperbolic rhetoric and you shouldn't be engaged in that.
That's good.
Okay.
Good.
Now back
I
to
agree
what
with
we
you.
were talking about. So if you believe that our democracy is being stolen, I believe violent action is not only okay, I think it is a necessity.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem that was faced by those people because they believe their democracy is stolen. Of course they're going to engage in violence. That's why it was such a terrible lie.
Tiny amount of people.
But if you have so many people at the Capitol that believe that, because all the people there, they believe the election was stolen. That was the whole point of it, was the Stop the Steal rally. That's what it was
That's
called.
not unusual, as I pointed out to you. Like literally every Democrat election they lose.
There was
all the Democrats think
nothing
it was
comparable to that in 2000.
Oh my God!
2000 by the time the inauguration
Have you
process
seen-
started on January 6th of the year 2000, by the time that was happening, Al Gore had already conceded the process was over. George Bush was going to be president. There is no equivalent.
There is.
Then
There
what's the
is
equivalent rally?
2016
Where was
because they launched the whole Russiagate thing, which is bullshit.
So they tried to storm the Capitol and beat up a bunch of cops. Like when did that happen in 2016?
Oh yeah. So during Trump's inauguration, there was a huge riot that encompassed a bunch of dudes that looked like ninjas dressed up in black uniforms, attacking people, breaking shit. And
they were trying to stop the certification of the vote because they believed the election was stolen.
I'm getting there. They would have got into the Capitol, but guess what? It was blocked off for some reason. It's blocked off. I can prove it to you too. You want to see it? I can prove it to you. Hold on. I'll prove it to you.
Okay, you didn't.
I'm gonna prove it to you.
Okay.
So, like, literally, like every time Democrats lose, there's violence.
Do you know what this just sounds like? This just sounds like a big whataboutism anyway.
Right. That's what
I'm asking you,
dude. Dylan, that's what left wingers always say. You guys haven't programmed into your brain that, like, anytime you're called,
talk over you, so I'm just gonna let you talk yourself out, and then I'll say what I want to say.
So, once you guys get caught on your hypocrisy, you say it's whataboutism. That's it.
Okay, so my hypocrisy, I never said the election was stolen, ever. I never advocated for people to go to the Capitol and stop Trump from being inaugurated. When Trump was elected, I said, Trump is the president of the United States. It is what it is. You lost. It is what it is. I said it at the time. I was like 16 or 17 at the time, but that's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah, but
now, the problem I have is, the question was, is Ray Epps or Donald Trump more culpable for what happened? Obviously contributed much more to the environment that created the violence that happened on January 6th. And you can't bring up a single example of Ray Epps directly inspiring somebody to go do violence, because the only example you can point to where he actually advocates for people to do something that could be conceived as violence, everybody reacted to him negatively.
Honestly, I think you're just defending Ray Epps because you're locked into this mode. You're locked into this
Respond
mode.
to that, please. You're pivoting.
No, I'm not. Like, what?
Respond to that.
Respond to that. Respond to
the
what?
fact-
No direct evidence. I have evidence of video of him inciting it. Like, what else do you
didn't-
want?
You didn't listen to me at all.
No, I did. I listened to you, Dylan. I know what you're saying.
Okay, so who did he inspire?
You're
Give
so
me an example.
like, you're so like,
Give me an example.
You have to be against whatever
Give me an
anybody
example,
from
John.
my side comes from. He's on video. That's my evidence. He's on video telling people
You
to
said
do
that he
exactly what
inspired probably
happened.
300 people. Give me one.
What?
Yes, you did. You said he inspired probably 300 people to engage in violence. Enough people to
Yeah, he's
inspire
on
those
video.
300.
And he is
So who did
at
he
the
inspire?
front of the he is at the he is there the day. So here's my evidence.
I was
He
at
is
the
there the day
front.
before. Oh, shut up. He is there the day before telling people to go to the Capitol, and then he is at the forefront, at the vanguard of the initial breach of the gates and Capitol Police. Boom. That's two. You disprove that. Like, fuck off. Like, you act like I'm the one coming at. No. You know what? I'm sick of this shit. Like, the evidence is on our side. Stop acting like I'm the one that's like, I'm coming at nowhere. No, what the fuck do you have on your side? You have nothing. All you have is like, I hate the people that are saying this, so I'm just gonna like tell myself that this guy had nothing to do with it, even though he's the guy telling people to do the thing that happened, and he's on video doing it. And this guy who like,
what do you mean he was on video doing
like,
it? He didn't storm the Capitol. You said your evidence of
he
him
was
doing it is
he literally
there,
whispered into a guy's ear at the front, at the vanguard, the first. Do you think it's just? Do you think it's just a coincidence? So you think it's coincidence? So you think it's
engaged in violence right now?
Dylan, let me ask you this.
Violence.
Let me ask you this, Dylan. Dylan, let me ask you this. Do you think it's a coincidence that he's the guy that was telling people the day before they entered the Capitol, and that he's the guy that was at the front, at the vanguard of the first breach of the gates at the Capitol? Do you think it's just total?
I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that he believed the election was stolen. That's why he was there.
Okay. What's that mean?
That's why he was there, because he believed the election was stolen. Because
Right, and he just happens to be the guy that's at the front, the vanguard, that is breaching the Capitol initially, and he's also the guy that told people to enter the Capitol. That's nothing. I'm such an idiot. Oh my God, Ryan, you're such an idiot. Are you serious?
You said it, not me.
Are you fucking serious, Dylan? I'm an idiot,
Ryan.
You think I'm an idiot, Dylan?
No, you said it. I didn't say it. You called yourself an
idiot.
Dude, I didn't.
No, I'm just like, no, I'm obviously being facetious here. Like, that's. I don't even my brain can't fathom that I'm here arguing this point.
Brain can't fathom a lot of things.
Something is wrong. Something's wrong that we're even arguing this. Seriously,
well,
what do
you
you have to
invited
say,
me
Cluck?
on. I
Cluck,
do
what
think
do you
it's
have to
silly
say,
that
Cluck?
I think it is silly that we're debating whether this guy's a Fed with basically zero evidence.
Well, I'm not even. I told you there's two possibilities. It's not just that, and it's not necessarily he's a Fed. He could be an informant for multiple different outfits, or he could be just somebody that the media had, or that the government had something on, and they fucking blackmailed him. Who fucking knows? Like,
can he just be
there's
stupid?
There's something not right about this man, and the fact that you cannot admit that is very suspect to me.
Well, I think that there is something not.
Do you guys have critically thinking brains?
No, I'm
No,
a
no,
Fed.
You consider yourselves?
We go. Me and
I
Ray
consider
Epps
you,
together.
Dylan, to be a pretty smart guy.
Okay.
I think you're a pretty smart guy. I don't think either of you guys
Thank
are
you.
idiots, actually. I think both you guys are smart people. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about this, because my brain needs some sort of explanation for why you guys blow this off. I need to know why. It doesn't something is very wrong if you cannot explain this.
So if you really want my explanation, if I was prosecutors, I would have gone after everyone. Literally everyone I could have.
Of
I would
course,
have been
they
a lot
have.
more aggressive
They
in arresting
have.
people. I would have.
They have, except for him.
A lot
Except for
more
Ray Epps.
people. I would have also arrested Epps, and I probably would have charged him. I don't think I would have gotten
why
a sentence
didn't?
on him.
So why
I would have
didn't?
done it
Why
out
do you
of- I would have
dismiss
done it out of
that?
principle. I do it because
Why
I
do you
hate 'em.
dismiss that?
I like really don't like those people because I saw.
Why do you dismiss
It was also in my
the fact
city
he wasn't charged?
because I think they didn't charge him because they knew they couldn't get him on anything.
Bullshit.
What would
Bullshit.
they-
Why
they
isn't
couldn't
he
have gotten him
enemy
on
number
anything.
one? Why is the QAnon shaman enemy number one? Not this guy.
Okay, so tell me how strong the case is. Explain to me the strength of the case against Ray Epps.
I'm not going to do this anymore. We all know he's on
No,
video.
the legal case, not the conspiracy. He stood there and he whispered in someone's ear,
shouting
"Mean
fire in a
something."
crowded theater or whatever the fuck we always hear as a
Wait.
justification to silence right wingers.
So it would be fire. Oh, never mind. Not a fire. Not a
You're
fire.
telling
And then
me
the
if a
next
right
day-
winger, you're
and then the next day, wait. The comparison would be, and then the next day, people get trampled. That would be the comparison.
he was there the same day.
I feel
The
like I'm
same day.
cucking the liberal cuck. I've been speaking a lot, and he hasn't been.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's 3 o'clock, man. You're in Ukraine. Have fun.
No, but he was there the same day. It wasn't just the next day. It was the same day.
Yeah, so he goes the next day, and then there's a trampoline, but he didn't yell fire that day.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. Come on,
that is
man.
what
Like, why
happened.
are you
That's what-
playing
that's
dumb,
what- that's-
Dylan? Are you
what
a
I just said
government
is
agent?
true.
I'm starting to wonder about
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I'm honestly starting to wonder about you. Are you working with the
Absolutely.
CIA?
You should say the
Dylan?
same thing about me.
You are in Ukraine.
That is true. How did I get the answer?
You are. How'd you get there?
How did a 22-year-old get
Hey, guys,
embedded with mine?
I did not kill myself, okay? Everybody, I did not kill myself. Dylan, what's up with you, man? Are you working for the CIA or the FBI or?
Absolutely.
Honestly, like, it's just weird to me because I know you're a smart guy. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that you would make the argument that you're making because, like, critically
My
thinking
argument-
brain
my
can see
argument isn't
through
that-
this
My
bullshit.
argument isn't that like Ray Epps is a good guy. My argument isn't that Ray Epps didn't even necessarily advocate for a crime. My argument is that I don't think the legal case against him was strong enough for them to go forward on it, and I don't think he's a fed.
Okay,
These aren't too ridiculous.
Screw that.
You're-
Screw that. Screw all that. Why is he not enemy fucking number one in the media? Why was the QAnon shaman enemy? Why was why was Ashley Babbitt? Why was the woman the
I can tell
cancer
you. I can
patient
tell you why those
grandma?
two.
Why was she the focus? Why was
I don't remember
not
cancer
this
patient
guy
grandma. I don't
who's
remember that
on
character.
video for multiple days telling people to go in the Capitol? We got to go into the Capitol, and that's where our problems are. So he was either working for the government, telling people to go there, or he was just some chud. But he's a chud who is to blame. And so if we blame him, we can't blame Trump. We can't.
Those are
and
not
then
the
we can't
only two
use that
possibilities.
as propaganda.
You're putting too much power in this
There's
person's
no
hands to
propaganda
try to
victory
remove
and
responsibility from the
there's-
others who are actually responsible.
No, use your brain. There's no propaganda in using Ray Epps as there's nothing there. But Trump, there is. Ray Epps, if he's to blame, there's nothing there. You
So
can't
the
really use
reason why
that.
they talk about Ashley Babbitt is because Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed, and so
Right, for no
obviously
reason.
she's gonna. Well,
The guy
she
who
was
shot her is a hero.
bullied.
The guy who shot her is a
that-
hero.
I don't know
Suddenly
if I'd
shooting
call
at
her-
our
call
people's
him a
heroic.
I
Yeah, they said he got
what
interviewed on
is-
60 Minutes. They called him a hero.
look. I back the blue. Okay, personally, I back the blue. But when it comes to
used to.
like the QAnon shaman, like the QAnon shaman was wearing a ridiculous headdress, goes into the Capitol actually the day of, and was a big QAnon guy and a pretty big whack job. And so it's pretty easy to film that person and
Okay.
bring attention to them. Let me tell you, I filmed a lot of people at like a lot of protests, and it's always the craziest characters, the ones saying the weirdest stuff, the wildest characters that get the most attention in the media. And the QAnon shaman was a crazy character. Of course, he's going to be like the person people talk about afterwards. If somebody like, remember the Brazilian version of the like January 6th people talked about, where the Brazilians, there was like a Brazilian January 6th. If there was a guy who did that in like a lobster outfit, and he was like, I believe that Lula is actually the son of Elvis Presley, and he was like some crazed whack job, that would have been the symbol for the Brazilian January 6th.
Well, during that 60 Minutes interview, like one of the first points they make is that Ray Epps stood out amongst the crowd, and he's like, why would he stand out so obvious if he was an FBI agent? So like they even made that point that he stood out. So I just want to make that point.
Well, he stood out, but he doesn't stand out like the QAnon shaman, and you know he doesn't stand out like the QAnon
He does.
shaman.
Nobody else. He
Really?
Really?
Okay,
well,
so
that's
you're telling me-
your. All right.
You're telling me if
guys,
I put QAnon shaman next to this guy, you're going to be like, these are two people.
I would say they're both characters. I would
media.
say they're both interesting characters. Yeah.
Not,
And hold
not
on.
at all. Not at all to
Hold
the
on.
same extent. It's
All
not
right.
even
Well, let me
not
just
comparable.
Let me just. Can I just play the point?
You should have a
that,
better
60
content
Minutes-
brain on this. You're a YouTuber. You should know this. This is better
I do
content
know
brain.
this. I do know this. What are you talking about? Hold on one second. Let me get to the point that I'm talking about exactly. All right, one second. This might be it. I'm not sure. One second. It's hard when I'm not actually hearing it. Oh, geez, this is super serious. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. I got it. All right. Damning, combined with his own testimony in which he admits to orchestrating the riot. All right, so that was what.
Why do we keep playing your own videos?
Somehow, because I put all these little tidbits in here. Hold on 1 second. I thought that was it. 1 second. There's a point where they address this.
I got 10 minutes
point.
left, by the way. Okay.
All right, hold on. They address this actual specific point. I just want to go to that. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. And he's now out of prison because the FBI and the government video for multiple days inciting time on the QAnon shaman. And he's now out of prison because the FBI and the government purposely withheld footage. Well, anyway, there's one point they mentioned the fact that Ray Epps himself was very obvious. Like he's very in the crowd. He was a very obvious person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's just my point. Is you were making a point
but the QAnon shaman is not somebody being sticking out because they're tall is very different from sticking out because you're wearing a costume and you're when you're in the conspiracy theorist scale, you're not a 3 or 4, you're a 10. He believed in the adrenochrome, human trafficking, QAnon. He bought the Pizzagate, he bought all of it. He was obviously a better character to portray the craziness of January 6th. Absolutely. And that's why the media stuck to him, because he was interesting.
I need a bathroom break, guys. I'm right back.
So this has been fun.
Yeah. What do you think of this so far?
I think Dronetek has a very conspiratorial mind that has the same patterns with every single topic he ever talks about.
Damn.
You'll start with something specific and then it'll always broaden out and end up with the media at some point. The media is always involved.
He does really not like the media.
Yeah, and that's understandable. But the thing you're trying to get at with the QAnon shaman is that the media has a very sensationalism bias.
Yes,
they have a bias towards sensationalism. He thinks that it's some other bias, some bias against Trump.
Yeah. By the way, that's not a compliment. I don't think that's a good thing. I think the sensationalism is bad.
Yeah. Right. Why is Ray Epps not being covered as public enemy number 1? Well, he didn't really commit any crimes. He's not interesting like the QAnon shaman. He wasn't violent. The media tends to focus on the violent people more so than they do anyone else. Just look at how they treated BLM. But you can't convince them of that. There's no way to convince them of that.
Yeah, the thing is, it's the day. How would the media have portrayed this? Hello, everybody. Did you know the day before this guy said people should go into the Capitol, before then saying he inspired it all? No, that's ridiculous. Of course he didn't inspire it all. He's just not that imposing of a figure to have done that. He doesn't have that influence. He's a relative unknown. And the day of, he was just telling people to go towards the Capitol. We didn't see him advocate for anybody to be violent. The day of, he didn't engage in any violence. He didn't enter the Capitol. The only time he actually advocated for something that could be considered violence, he immediately got a negative response. So it's hard for me to believe in the 24 hours following that, he was able to inspire enough people to engage in violence to call us January 6th.
Yeah, I think that the most damning evidence to Dronetek's point, and this is only in the court of public opinion, not so much the court of law, because I don't think this would hold up in court of law, is the text message to his nephew. But that could just be explained by him being an idiot.
No, here's my thing. Is it's weird to me how dismissive you guys, or how quickly you guys are to defend this man. And it feels to me it's purely partisan. This guy, the media defends this guy, so we're going to defend this guy.
You know
that's the way it seems to me.
It's the exact reverse, right? Because it's you said there's only 2 scenarios that you can accept, right?
Right.
You said that the only 2 scenarios
purely logically
is that he's a Fed, or that it's part of that they don't want to acknowledge it because he was the real culprit, right? And you can't even acknowledge the idea that it could be possible that people are playing connect the dots when there's just no dots to really connect. Things can look suspicious, things can look sketchy, and there could be nothing there. Happens
look
all
at
the
this.
time. That's how people get sentenced when they weren't the actual people who committed the crimes. It happens all the time.
The article I have up right now about the QAnon shaman, he was released early because Tucker played footage that was not shown during his
That's
trial.
not true. That's not
No,
why
it
he was
is
released.
true.
Prove it. Prove it. Give me any
He-
court statement. Give me any evidence of that.
Why was he released early? Right after that footage was released.
Good behavior.
There's so many coincidences.
Wait,
you're just
okay,
like so
wait. To be clear,
willing to
if
accept.
somebody, unless somebody is, I don't know how. Okay, I don't mean to be insulting. I don't know how much you know about the prison system, but if somebody is not denied parole during the sentencing, usually they don't serve the majority or the entirety of their sentence. They usually let off early to some
He could have
extent,
also
unless they're
snitched.
sentenced without parole.
He could have also
Like he was
snitched.
going to most likely be let out early.
Especially on trespassing charges. You get so I don't know how DC is, but in Virginia, if you do something like trespassing, you're only going to serve 50% of your time if you get your maximum good behavior points.
Yeah. Well,
Why is that impossible? Can you tell me how are you so certain that it must be the release of the footage and can't be he was released early on good behavior like a lot of people are all the time?
it's just it happened literally like 2 days after Tucker Carlson released that footage. And it came out that footage had not been allowed during. His lawyer said that footage.
You said it so confidently. You didn't say, "Man, isn't that suspicious?" You said that is the reason. You said
no.
It
I'm saying that's no. I'm saying, dude. There's just there's a lot of weird.
It is.
Yeah, you're connecting the dots. Yeah, I know.
Wait, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. It would be possible that there was some kind of evidence that wasn't presented at trial because the QAnon shaman could have had a shitty lawyer. This happens all the time. But in order for him to get out early, based off of new evidence, you have to have a whole other trial. And it should be pretty easy for you to prove that there was another trial to get him out early.
Right. They avoided that by letting him out on good behavior.
What the good behavior?
How do you have evidence? Do we have any evidence that was the reason?
No, that's the thing about all this stuff. Plausible deniability. We're wallowing.
Dronetek,
we're all
wait,
we're like in a.
You know what I do for a living. You know what I do for a living.
I only have 3 minutes.
It's called earned sentencing. Good.
Right. We're gonna wrap this up here.
Okay, I only have 3 minutes. I just want to say the thing is with plausible deniability is sometimes things are plausibly deniable because they also just didn't happen.
But it did. Like he's on video doing it.
The
Ray Epps is the topic here. We do though, because he's on video saying it. He's saying go to the Capitol. Yeah, so it's so weird to me. Like you guys are working so hard to pretend like that never happened.
I acknowledge. It was one of the first things I acknowledged when we started. I started by acknowledging the suspicious stuff and trying to give alternative explanations to your only two theories, the only possible two theories that you say are the possible.
Right. What other theory do you think there is?
I already gave
you
it
think
to
he's
you.
just a guy that the media, the Democrats all see as a sympathetic figure who just happens to be the same guy who told people to go to the Capitol, who they say was an attack on democracy. The attack on democracy. The guy who told people to do an attack on democracy is a sympathetic figure. That's weird to me.
The reason he became a sympathetic figure isn't because the reason he became a sympathetic figure in the eyes of many isn't because of the things he did then. The reason he became a sympathetic figure is because of the way he's been treated since then. Because people love it. People, Democrats and Republicans love this too. People love a turncoat where somebody used to be on this side and now they're on this side. You see it with, for example, Republicans.
Do you ever see it on the other side?
Yeah, very remember Liz Cheney is an example.
Well, yeah, Republican. You see it on the Republican side a lot.
Is an example of this.
Yeah, but they hate her. They treat Republicans that turn on Republicans as heroes. They treat Democrats who turn on Democrats as horrible people.
Yes, always. The Republicans are going to treat Democrats who turncoat good, and Republicans are going to treat.
I'm talking about the media.
Democrats who turncoat good. Well, it depends on which media outlet. Because
Republicans who turn on Republicans are good. Democrats who turn on Democrats are always bad. Always. Going back to Lieberman.
Media, I'm going to be
remember Lieberman?
How did Fox treat Tulsi Gabbard? They had her host Tucker Carlson's show.
I'm talking about NBC, CBS,
Fox is part of the media.
ABC.
Fox hosted until
I'm
Tucker
talking
Carlson
about the majority of media.
The number
Dylan.
one most powerful.
Stop playing dumb.
Fox News hosts the number one show in all of cable news. That isn't a tiny part of the media. That's a big part of the media.
Okay, that's one channel though.
News and cable.
That's one channel. All the other ones say something completely different.
The biggest show. It is the biggest show. You can't just discount that.
You can't just discount the other media organizations being united in a narrative. They are ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, PBS, NPR, and New York Times, Boston Globe, whatever you want. They all are all united in a message and as a Democrat Party.
Do I just need to list off like right wing or like center right
Okay.
news outlets
Fox
now?
News,
Is that what I need to do?
Newsmax, OAN, which are Newsmax and OAN are pretty small fry. So you got Fox News. That's pretty much it.
Daily Wire, Breitbart. There's more than the ones
Yeah,
you're
but those are like
mentioning
internet.
here.
It's not the same thing. It's not because TV news is what goes out to the unwashed masses.
The unwashed masses. Okay, it's 9 p.m. I gotta go. Actually, have to head out.
All right, all right, Dylan. It was fun, buddy. I thank you
Video.
so much for being here. Seriously, I
Awesome.
know you are super busy. You're in a war zone. You're reporting shit that most people don't have the balls to report, and you're backing up what you believe in. I really respect it. Thank you very much. Everybody should check out his work.
No problem, man.
Good
You have a
night.
good
Be
one.
safe.
Nice meeting you. Bye bye.
Later, Dylan. So yeah, clock. It's just you and me, bro.
Him saying nice meeting you hurt because I've met him before.
Oh yeah, we've met him before. He's a good guy.
Well, no, I was on a call in with him a couple times.
Yeah, I basically think there's something. If you don't think there's something weird going on with Ray Epps, I have to question your intelligence and your ability to think critically. Like I just like, come on, like there's something going on there. There's something.
I usually don't try to explain away things in other ways that can be explained with idiocy.
I'm with
think
you.
that-
I'm with you on that. I'm
I
with you.
think that your strongest evidence is him telling his nephew that he orchestrated it. I think
not just that, but also the video of him orchestrating it. But yeah,
Well, so you say the video of him orchestrating it. You have a video of him January 5th
yeah,
telling people that they need to go to the Capitol and be peaceful,
yes.
right?
Right. And the
Um,
people are like, the people that he's telling that to are like, what? Literally, you hear that in the crowd. They're like, what?
yeah.
Like they're surprised. They're like, that's insane. We're not going to
Yeah.
do that.
So there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people there, right?
No, there were around 120,000 people, maybe
Yeah,
more.
thousands
But there
and
were
thousands
but
and thousands of
right,
people
but
there.
there were only like literally the only people who engaged with riot police it was around 300 people.
Well, those were the only
Supposedly.
people charged.
That was
a lot,
who was charged.
there
right.
was more people that engaged in riot police. I think we could both agree that there was probably more people than was charged. There was also a lot
I
of
think
people.
probably less actually. I think they probably charged harder than they would normally. I think it's probably
Well, I think
when I
that
look at the
there-
video of
I think-
I'd say it's like I would say that because there's video, I have video in my video of Ray Epps engaged with a crowd against the. Hold on, let me bring it up here. Hold on.
Okay, so
I meant to do it
while you
earlier. I
do
got
that-
sidetracked.
While you do that, I'm going to talk. I think that so your biggest evidence is the nephew thing. Second biggest is the day before he said go into the Capitol. Neither of those things are crimes or are proof of a crime. So,
That's bullshit, man.
even
The fact that
saying-
you're even making this argument is bullshit.
Wait, hold on. So which one of those two things are a proof of a crime?
Here, let me tell you real quick. I'm trying to explain to you, like you're not getting this. It's weird to everybody who is on my level right now that you're going so hard to run cover for this guy who's on video telling people to go to the Capitol when we are told endlessly from our media and from every institution that January 6th was it's on par with the Civil War. So like this guy who told people to go there in this event that occurred right after that on the same day he told people to do it, even the day before, you're doing your best to downplay his actions. It's really weird.
Well,
You don't
so
see
hold
where
on,
I'm coming
not-
from? You don't see
wait.
where I'm coming from on that?
But see, thing is, you say downplay his actions. I'm just simply saying that he didn't commit a crime.
What?
I think that he was an idiot. I think that he's culpable for his actions morally, but not criminally. I don't think he committed a crime.
But it's beyond the charges. The charges is one thing, but then on top of that, we have both the Democrats, members of the January 6th committee, and the media all defending this guy in the same fashion. It's weird as fuck. You
wait,
you
so
don't
are we-
expect us to question that? Like
Are
what
we-
the fuck?
Are we abandoning the narrative that because he wasn't charged, that's evidence that he's an FBI agent? Is that abandoned now? Because I can leave that point if you're abandoning it.
1 second. Hold on. Epps is back. 1 second. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to share a screen here. Ask me that again.
So, are we abandoning the talking point that because he wasn't charged, that's evidence that he was an FBI agent? Is that
That's
an
part of
abandoned
it. That is definitely
okay,
a
so we
part of
have
it.
to talk
Just
about
one part of many.
okay,
But yes,
but in order to talk about this one part, we have to talk about the legality of the actions that we have proven that he's done, right?
so real quick, I just want to point out. I don't know if you can see it, but I put up on the screen screenshot of my video on this where it shows highlights. 326 defendants have been charged with assaulting, resisting, and impeding officers. So that's not necessarily violence, like people, you know what I mean? Like 326 people. And then there were 919 approximately charged with entering or remaining in the Capitol. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay, so Ray Epps didn't enter the Capitol.
Right,
Right.
but he told people to do it.
But he told that and nobody did it.
What? The day of, he told people to do that.
He told people to go to the Capitol.
But why are you playing these semantic games with me? Like, why are you doing that in the first place?
Because
Cluck, drop everything and answer me why you're suddenly defending a January 6th person who you would normally hate. Now you're defending him. Explain that.
First of all, real quick, I don't normally hate January 6 people. I think they're idiots.
don't?
But I appreciate the fact that if there was an actual like stealing of democracy, there are people that would put themselves at risk to try and stop that. I do appreciate that fact. So let's
Okay,
get
well,
that straight.
what do you feel the same way about all the years worth of Democrat protests where like 2,000 police officers were injured and around a dozen ambushed and murdered by left-wing Democrat people?
That I appreciate them,
No, like it's just weird. Don't you think it's weird that like
or do I think they're idiots?
No, I'm just like you're like so solemn for these officers, but like we don't hear anything about these other ones.
No, I have sympathy for the officers that were.
But do you hear anything about them? It's like forgotten out in the memory hole, right? You agree with that?
Well, I don't think many people are talking about January 6th and Ray Epps.
No,
right
they
now.
are. It's like constant. It's every year. It's going to be like a annual holiday,
Oh yeah, but
right?
okay.
But do you think any left-wing
Alright, so
violence
we're
will ever
off
be
topic.
commemorated?
We're off topic.
Honestly, Cluck,
we
just
are.
answer me. Do you think any left-wing violence will ever be commemorated ever?
I don't know.
Do you think it's weird that like we commemorate all this like so-called right-wing violence, but
Well,
never left-wing?
having people enter the Capitol to disrupt a electoral process.
That's
is very
happened.
historic.
I mean, yeah, that kind of things happened before. Before that, left-wingers entered the Supreme Court and
that's
stopped
not-
the process of confirming the Supreme Court justice, right?
So those people were allowed in there until they
No, they
were
weren't allowed.
Yes, they
No,
were.
they weren't allowed.
They
Did
bought-
you
they-
see the
I think
video?
they had to buy tickets to be
Dude,
there.
there's tons of video of it. They were like pounding on the doors and breaking the windows. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so the legality of what Ray Epps did.
Hold on. I'm going to play this real quick.
Okay.
Do you see this video I'm playing?
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, I'm going to play it.
On video engaging in some of the violence. Here's Ray Epps actually involved in the fighting with riot police.
There, dude.
Yeah,
Right? Is
Wait,
he not?
what was he
Like,
doing?
right?
Go back.
He's in it. He's just like, look, the
Did he
police
touch
are
a
right
cop
here.
or did he touch a cop at all?
No, but I'm saying, like, do you think, like, look how many people are here?
Wait,
This
so
is
is
around
this-
300 people.
Is this evidence? So these were the 300 people that were charged?
He's in it. What is he doing there? What is he doing?
What is any of these people doing there?
Right. What is he doing there?
Wait,
Why the
is that a
fuck
Make
is
America
he?
Great Again hat? Is that
Right.
what that is?
Yes, it is.
So the red hat was a point that you brought up, but it's a Make America Great Again hat. Like
Right,
it's literally
but
a
I'm
Trump hat. Like of
Right,
course he's
but-
wearing it.
Right. I'm saying though, like
There's one right there. There's another red hat right there.
no,
Is he a
that
Fed?
that was like a minor point. I was
Wait,
just
there's
making
another hat right there. Is he a Fed?
No, I was making a point about they said he was so. I made a point about the fact they said that he stood out, and I'm like, yes, he did stand out.
I
Why
really
is
don't
that?
think whoever said that on 60 Minutes, I think they were
60 Minutes
fucking
said
idiots.
that. They literally
Yeah,
said
I
that. They're like,
They're
he stood
probably
out.
trying to create a narrative. I think that was a dumb point. I don't think Ray Epps stood out at all.
I'm like, yeah, he stood
If I
out. Why
saw
is
this-
that?
If I saw this footage and there wasn't an arrow pointing at Ray Epps right now, he would not be any more remarkable.
That's my
than any of
video.
the-
Yeah,
As a matter of
that's my
fact, I
video.
would say that if any of these people were going to be the peaceful ones, it's the guy that's got his like face shown, doesn't have his face covered,
With
isn't,
riot police.
and like all these people look like they're here for trouble, whereas Ray Epps actually looks like he's here just to be in a protest.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Look,
He's one guy
this
in a mass of people, and you're like, oh, that guy right there. He's there for good purposes. I know that.
You got this guy
That man right there with the arrow. He's there for good purposes.
This guy right here, so you can't see it, but the guy right in front of Ray Epps got his face covered, eyeglasses on, hat on, very suspicious looking. And this wouldn't be suspicious if these weren't people that like railed against masks during COVID. I could just say, oh, they're just conscious of COVID, but I really don't think that's the case with them. Wait, go back to the video. There was more people that I want to point out. What's going on?
Whoops. Sorry about that. I accidentally left stream.
Oh, anyways, the legality of what Ray Epps did, that video you just showed does not show Ray Epps doing anything illegal. He didn't assault a cop there.
Let's just put aside the legality.
Well, we can't because that's one of your points.
No, just stop. No, it is one of my points,
Okay,
but
so
the other
you
one,
wanna
let's
abandon that
put
point?
aside. Let's just put aside because this is so absurd to me. I have to just do this. Let's put aside the legality. Like, how do you explain
have to
the
prove to
defense
me
of this
that
man?
he did something illegal for me to say, okay, it's a little weird. He didn't get charged.
It's more than a little weird. It's really fucking weird.
Why would it
it's
be weird
the
if he gets
basis
charged if
of
he
all
did
of this.
something he did that would be chargeable.
He incited a riot. Is inciting a
He didn't.
He did. That's what he was doing
The closest
literally.
evidence you've got of that was on January 5th when he said, let's go into the Capitol.
Why do you
and be
feel the need to
peaceful,"
defend
and nobody
Ray
went
Epps? I
into
just
the
wanna
Capitol,
know.
so there was no riot then.
All right. I feel like we're never going to come to an agreement on this because, quite honestly, I feel like this is like one of the biggest, most obvious psyops ever perpetrated on this country. I don't know what's going on here, but it's something really fucking weird. And I respect guys like Liberal Cluck and Dylan Burns. I know they're intelligent people, but and I think we're all susceptible to this, by the way. There's some sort of action being taken here, which is targeted at certain groups of people, apparently. And I think we're all susceptible to this. So I'm not blaming Cluck. I think that, I don't know. I can't explain your position. I just don't understand it. And,
Wait, can I try to explain your position?
Yeah.
So
Go
you
ahead.
think that there's a good chance that Ray Epps is a federal agent because one, he committed crimes but didn't get charged like other people who
One,
committed
yes.
crimes on January 6th.
Right. One.
Two, the media isn't focusing on him the way they did
Right.
like the QAnon shaman. Three,
For example,
the January
yes.
6th committee didn't put any focus on him because you have this perspective.
And actually lied for him. They actually lied for him.
What was the lie?
Like that during that 60 Minutes interview, the January 6th lawyer guy said that that we were the ones that were lying because we're trying to deflect from Trump's words. And the truth is that the January 6th committee, and you can look this up, Snopes actually confirms this, that they actually edited out Trump's words about marching peacefully. They edited that out of every video they played. So they purposely
didn't lie about
took
Ray
it
Epps,
out.
though.
No, hold on. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I know, I hear what you're saying. It just has nothing to
They
do with Ray Epps.
purposely took that out. Why do you think they did that?
I don't know, to make Trump look bad. That has nothing to do
More
with Ray
than
Epps.
that. It connects to Ray Epps. It's like Ray Epps did do that. Like he did. He's on video. He's the only guy on video doing that. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm telling you, this is purposeful. All this shit is purposeful. I'm telling you. They cannot blame Trump. It's funny because their whole thing has already imploded anyway. It doesn't matter. But they're still clinging on to it anyway. Like they're not going to get Trump for this, obviously. It's already imploded. But like they're still trying. And they can't let it go because if they do, they'd be admitting that I fucking hate the state of our politics because it leads to retarded, dumbass shit like this. Like, because this should be obvious. And I know you're smart, and I know that like you're just I appreciate your arguing with me, Cluck. I feel like this is bullshit.
No, I really don't. Because everything you
You
have
really,
done-
you really
so,
think
like
you
that
really
last-
think he's a victim in this shit?
Do I think he's a victim? No, I think he put himself in that
Fuck
situation.
him. I feel like fuck Ray Epps.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really care. No.
Like
I
when
mean, I
I
don't think
saw,
getting...
let me, Cluck, can I tell you something real quick? When I saw what was happening on January 6th, I was disgusted. I didn't like it. So I'm a right winger. I did not want that to happen. I did not like to see it happen. I didn't want it to happen, but this guy made it happen. Who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to open your mind a little bit to the shenanigans that are going on out there, I think.
Well, I think that if I'm going to connect them editing Trump's speech to Ray Epps, and try to claim that January 6th lied for Ray Epps because they edited Trump's speech, I think that's opening your mind a little bit too much, because them editing Trump's speech isn't lying for Ray Epps. Like
what? Excuse me.
It's
now you're making
you
excuses
can claim
for
that it's lying by
now you're
omission
making
to make
excuses
Trump
for like
look bad.
Orwellian censorship. Cluck, are you like a CIA? Are you a CIA agent? Am I? Is this the only reason I can get guests? Is because they're all CIA agents? I don't think you're actually a CIA agent. I hope you're not. You kind of look like you might be, though.
I work for a prison. You already know this.
I could see you being an agent of some kind.
I'm a
We're
counselor.
both. Look at us. Look, I have blue eyes too, bro. We're both like Irish ancestry.
Okay.
Anyway,
all
stop
right.
being.
So how many people
all right,
got
I'm gonna
watching
end
right
this.
now?
I'm gonna end this because
Okay.
I don't know where to go with. I don't know where to go at this point. I'm just like,
That's fine. How many people
I
you got
don't know where to
watching right now?
go. I don't know where to go. So,
How many
but I
people-
appreciate you coming, Cluck.
How many people you got watching right now?
Nobody. There's like 33 people. Nobody.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. All right. So listen, I am trying to drop woke Twitch for based free speech Rumble. And I need 25 followers in order to do that. I need 25
Follow
followers
him. Come on,
to
guys.
stream on Rumble. Just search for Liberal Cluck on Rumble and you'll find me. I got it's chicken avatar. Follow me. You don't need to watch me. You don't need to like my videos or anything. I just want to stream. So yeah, if you wanna support free speech by taking a streamer from Twitch and over to Rumble, then yeah, follow me on.
Guys,
Rumble.
go help him. Whatever. It's Rumble. I'll go over there and debate him. This guy.
Wait, why
like
are you not
Cluck.
on Rumble?
I'm on Rumble.
Oh, are you? Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course.
Are you on
Yeah.
Kick?
No.
No. Okay.
But hey, thanks,
Wait,
man.
I got
appreciate
an
you.
audience question. You want to answer this one for me?
Yeah, of course.
If I grant you everything, how do you know that Ray wasn't working for Trump? What if Ray was working for Trump to get people in to disrupt the election?
Yeah, I think there's something going on with Ray, and I'll explain why this is. There's a lot of different reasons to suspect Ray is dirty. But let me give you one huge example. So we have the GOP baseball game shooting, which most people don't even know happened. So what that was a Democrat.
I know what it is.
Okay, so your audience may not, but Democrat opened fire on a GOP baseball game. Almost killed Steve Scalise, and while he was doing this, he was screaming, "This is for healthcare." So that happened, and then Director Ray tried to pass it off as suicide by cop, tried to cover it up, pass it off. Years later, when pressed with all the evidence, which was pretty obvious early on, admitted that it was that it was domestic terrorism. It was a Democrat targeting Republicans, and so. I definitely question Director Ray's credibility. He seems like a partisan actor to me because it's pretty clear that was if that had happened the other way, do you think that would ever be a question? Do you think that would be something that fell down the memory hole? Or would that be an event that was commemorated and that we like Charlottesville or January 6th we talked about every year?
We don't commemorate Charlottesville. I don't even know when that happened.
Fuck you, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? Every year they commemorate that shit. They do.
Listen. I don't want to dox myself, but I live very close to Charlottesville. I have friends.
They do every year.
I no. I not even in Charlottesville. They don't.
Bullshit. The media does it every year, dude. What the fuck? Just Google it.
Listen, I live in Charlottesville.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay,
The
we
media
don't
does it
do
every
it.
year.
We don't.
What are you talking about?
We don't
Here,
commemorate,
Google
like
Charlottesville.
that.
Google Charlottesville and see what year the articles that you're seeing are. Hold on. I'm gonna Google Charlottesville. Hold on. Let me hear news. Here we go. So let me just put this on over here. Oh, there we go.
I got the latest one in 2021.
2022 for me. 5 years. This is NPR. That's not state media. 5 years after Charlottesville rally, residents grapple with the memories. That's in April or
NPR
August
is full
12th,
of shit.
2022.
The residents over here isn't grappling with shit. The direct family is probably still grappling with it.
My point is, this is a common thread, dude. This is what the media commemorates so-called right-wing violence. They memory hold left-wing violence. So it seems very one-sided.
Okay.
It happens. It's a real thing. I mean, I guarantee you couldn't tell me a single fucking example of left-wing violence.
Kenosha.
Well, good.
Chaz?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't call. Well, I would call the riots left-wing violence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you. It's never been called that ever in the media.
Okay.
I'm glad you admit that it is, but yeah. Good. You know what, Cluck? I like you, dude, and I'm glad you joined me. And we're gonna go ahead and end this stream right now because it's like 9:30 and my ass is tired. So,
all right.
Thanks a lot for joining me. It was a fun combo. And do you want to plug anything else before we go?
I've already plugged my Rumble, so.
All right, guys. Well, come to my Discord if you want to chat anymore, and go to my website and my my YouTube channel and all that shit. So thanks a lot. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.